In 2003, they elected Lula da Silva president. He's a uneducated union leader, a very remarkable person. I knew him back in the 90s, followed him closely. He's a very remarkable person, very effective. You don't take my opinion. The World Bank published a study of Brazil in 2016, May 2016, in which they discussed what they called the Golden Decade, a unique period in Brazil's history under Lula's two terms, 2003 to 2011, a period in which there was remarkable improvement, poverty reduction, enormous poverty reduction, large expansion of inclusiveness, marginalized. Remember, these are very unequal countries, rich but incredibly unequal, enormous poverty, tremendous resources wasted, inclusion of people, Afro-Brazilians, almost half the population, indigenous people and women brought into educational institutions, a sense of dignity, of commitment. The country just changed. They say it's a remarkable example of development rarely equaled. At the same time, Lula became probably the most respected statesman in the world, a very respected statesman as a voice for the global South, respected everywhere.
I remember visiting Brazil. It seemed like, like a beacon.
Yeah, it was a remarkable period. Well, Brazilian elites couldn't tolerate this. And not only first of all, he was very supportive of establishment institutions. He didn't interfere with the wealth robbing the country. You know, he didn't. He paid off the debts to the foreign investors. He satisfied the IMF. He's not a radical. His beliefs pretty straight are you just put money in the hands of poor people. That'll take care of things. That's his radicalism. But for the Brazilian elite, who are outlandish, all the Latin American elite, this is intolerable. Furthermore, there's enormous class hatred. How can this uneducated worker who doesn't even speak proper Portuguese dare to be sitting in the presidential palace? You know, these people have to have humility. We'll take care of them, that sort of thing. That's deeply rooted all throughout Latin America, and Brazil in particular. Anyhow, as soon as he, a couple of years after he stepped down, the oil prices dropped and the commodity prices dropped with China cutting back development. There's a lot of claims that the improvements under his rule were just illusory. But the World Bank didn't agree. You look at their analysis, they say that's not true. In fact, if you look more closely, I've written about this, the Brazilian economists have written about it. It was mainly the predatory financial institutions who prevented any sensible reaction to this. Every effort that was taken was beaten back, and it did lead to a recession. That gave the opportunity for the soft coup that's been going on since then. The first step was to impeach his successor, Dilma Rousseff, on absolutely derisory grounds. I mean, you look at them, it's not even a joke. And she was impeached by a gang of thieves of a sort you can't even describe. That was the first step. Then comes the next. Just a couple months ago, there was an election coming up in October 2018. Lula was way ahead in the polls. It was pretty clear he was going to win the election. So what'd they do? Put him in jail, solitary confinement, 25-year sentence, basically a death sentence, prevented from reading newspapers and journals, and crucially, prevented from making a public statement. Not like murderers in death row. This is right before the election.